administration's decision yesterday to end medical research by government scientists who use human fetal tissue. It's hailed by the pro-life movement and for promoting the dignity of life. Joining us now, Louis Brown, a former official at the Department of Health and Human Services. He's also the executive director of the Christ Medicus Foundation, a Catholic healthcare group offering Christians an alternative to traditional healthcare. Welcome back to our show.
Thanks for having me back.
This puts the president and the HHS at odds with NIH, the National Institutes of Health, which says that there is very strong evidence that fetal tissue research has scientific benefits. So is it an effective avenue for effective gains?
The Trump administration announced last week it will ban scientists at the Department of Health and Human Services from conducting medical research using remains from aborted babies. HHS reaction and analysis, and she has powerful insight into the Born Alive bill because as a nurse, she claims to have witnessed babies being aborted alive without medical care.
A South Texas couple stands before a judge, accused of putting an aborted 7-month-old fetus in a gift box under a Christmas tree.
I asked Javier, what did you do with the baby? He said, I already buried the baby.
Outside the court, Rubia Medina's mother spoke of the conversation she had with Javier Gonzalez, her daughter's boyfriend.
Ние виждаме кучката, убиваме ги, говоря за другите животни, консумираме. Истине. Само малко така да го полея. Гарнитура, която месоядните хора обичат да хапват с месото.
Да нищо не става толкова на чуди.
За повялни хора. Това, че е месо. Месото е изконно право. Месото е вкусно, месото е здраве, месото... Виждате, никой не умира за месо.
Не искам зеленчуци.
Искаме месо!
Месо!
Айде да ядем!
Пържела!
Това е деликатес, това е крехко, младо месце, което ще бъде скоро изядено от нас нормалните. Месото е здраве, месото е живот.
Имаме нужда от протеин!
Протеинчета! Малко холестеролче в артериите.
Харесва ни да имаме пъпки, да изглеждаме ужасно. Не искаме...
Искаш ли тук имаме едно бебенце?
Това ми е любимото!
Това е това.
Ние сме хищници!
Ние сме това да убиваме!
Ти мъничко му трябва.
Дай подправките!
Подправки има. Да плюскаме и да хрускаме! Сърца! Хапвайте, за вас го готвиме!
Аз си хапна от тези малки деца!
Това е деликатес! Крайно време на 21 век!
Likely, based on impact, that will be the greatest medical advance in the last 100 years. Right now, only in the US, we have 100,000 victims of COVID every day. 1,000 deaths every day.
That is the CEO of Pfizer reacting to news this week that their coronavirus vaccine looks to be 90% effective. The company is now on track to apply for emergency use approval from the Food and Drug Administration later this month. But should Catholics have any cause for concern with this vaccine? Joining me now on Skype is Dr. Joseph Meany, president of the National Catholic Bioethics Center. Welcome back. Joseph, as a bioethics expert, can you clarify, are fetal cell lines involved in this Pfizer vaccine?
So the good news is not at all. It's a new type of vaccine, the mRNA type.
There is a potential that there are companies that are using aborted human babies in their research and development of basically enhancing flavor for artificial flavors.
Baby number 59 has become an overnight star in China after surviving a nightmare delivery in a public toilet. Named after his incubator, his 22-year-old single mother wasn't able to afford an abortion and attempted self-delivery. Now doing well at 2.8 kilos, it wasn't looking so good just hours earlier when rescuers struggled to save his life. He had to be extracted from a sewage system in which he'd got stuck, then cut out of the pipe once in hospital. His mother called for help and insists she wasn't aborting her child, although she initially denied being its mother. Police say they're treating the case as attempted homicide.
Hey everyone, Dr. Anise here. Do you know what poison ivy looks like?
Well, this is the spot where the discoveries were made. Some of the bodies just off the bank here in the water, some partially buried in the dirt, all of them in plastic bags. 8 of them had tags linking them to the affiliated hospital of the Jining Medical College, which is about a 20-minute drive away in the centre of town. We were there a little bit earlier on. It's very much business as usual there, out front at least today, but behind the scenes, 2 mortuary workers have been arrested, charged with dumping the bodies here. 2 more senior officials, the director of logistics and the deputy director, have also lost their jobs, and the deputy head of the hospital.
The Chinese government said this week that a program to care for abandoned babies has been overwhelmed. In 2011, China opened what it calls baby hatches, where desperate parents can leave a newborn. A medical team is supposed to pick up the infant within 10 minutes. But now, some baby hatches are closing because orphanages are full. Seth Doan is looking into this.
This is something that's legitimately maybe not a great idea. Somebody ate this soup one time.
Yes.
And they got a parasite.
Yes.
Oh man, guys, I really hope I make it out of this one alive.
Is on the defensive this morning, facing an investigation of its practices. An undercover video alleges the Reproductive Health Organization sells body parts from abortions. The group says the claims are flat out untrue. Jan Crawford is in Washington, where 3 congressional committees are now getting involved. Jan, good morning.
One of the biggest pro-life cases in the last 20 years is still underway in California. Liberty Counsel reported that more witness and evidence presentations happened this week. In the federal civil trial, Planned Parenthood is suing the Center for Medical Progress founder David Daleiden and others for producing undercover videos allegedly showing workers discussing the gathering and sale of aborted baby body parts.
Clinton and others weighed in today on the gathering storm in Congress over Planned Parenthood, which provides women's health services, including abortions. Today, an anti-abortion group released a 4th undercover video that it says shows Planned Parenthood doctors discussing how to distribute the body parts of fetuses for research. Here's Nancy Cordes.
Stuff like this. The latest sting video is also the most graphic. It shows a Planned Parenthood doctor in Colorado examining a fetus and isolating different organs.
If we could provide the latest video in a sustained effort to undermine support for Planned Parenthood reprises the dramatic effects that have helped the Center for Medical Progress stoke the growing controversy. Edited undercover video with a Planned Parenthood research director in Texas talking about extracting intact fetus cadavers and body parts from abortions for use in fetal tissue research.
So that anything that we integrate into that procedure without having you cover the procedural cost is going to be higher, right? So anything about higher gestational age, there's more opportunity for complication.
Interspersed with talk about budgets and money.
So if we alter our process and we are able to obtain intact fetal cadavers, then we can make it part of the budget that any dissections are this, and splitting the specimens into different shipments is this. I mean, it's all just a matter of line items.
The end of the video includes graphic pictures of what is described as fetal tissue, with the voices of the actors who posed as representatives of a company that collects tissue samples, asking questions and identifying body parts with Planned Parenthood lab technicians. Today, even before it was released, the leader of the group responsible for the video predicted it would have more impact than the other productions.
It's perhaps going to be even more shocking. You're going to see evidence in it of how Planned Parenthood is actually willing to sell fully intact fetuses to buyers of aborted fetal tissue.
On this vote,
Over the past 3 weeks, an anti-abortion group has been releasing a series of sting videos on Planned Parenthood.
An undercover video alleges that the organization sells body parts from abortions.
Planned Parenthood is under attack by a group called
The Center for Medical Progress, a pro-life group. They pretended to be a company that procures fetal tissue from abortion clinics and gets it to researchers. They're essentially using little cameras, presumably pinned to their shirt, and they argue in the videos that Planned Parenthood is profiting off of the sale of fetal tissue.
I would say it's probably anywhere from $30 to $100 depending on the facility and what's involved.
And if Planned Parenthood were making profits, that would be illegal. It is illegal under federal.
Maybe I'll take this off right now and then just thank you. Okay. Thank you. Why are people on that side of the river so afraid of the Agori? I see. Why do... Like this may have been a mistake. Maybe we just, like, somebody distracts him and then I just leave.
Let's see where it goes.
We can be polite. I can be very polite about it.
Did you know that cannibalism used to be a popular medical remedy? That's right. In the 17th century, well before Advil, Europeans would ingest ground up mummies for headaches. And human fat, blood, and bone were used to treat everything from gout to nosebleeds. Yet cannibalism is largely absent and morally frowned upon today. But let's forget the social quagmire. There are plenty of reasons why you shouldn't eat people these days.
Beijing. Who would have thought it? I've never seen anywhere altering itself so quickly. The Olympics are coming here in 2008, and to prepare for them, the capital of China is trying to become a cut-price Manhattan.
Shuyu, did you start making art in art college, or how did you train?
I've jumped. He's the Damien Hirst of Chinese art, except that the things Zhu Yu does are much, much stranger.
I suppose this is the most controversial piece you've made. Can you tell me about how you came to do this particular performance piece with the eating the baby?
这个作品，我最早的构思还是从这个就说是人性和神性的这个角度来考虑这个问题。因为怎么说呢，就是可能好多方面，就是我们人类就是说有个道德的基本的一个标准，就是可能什么都可以以一个东西去规范，可能吃人只是一个潜意识当中我们好像不应该去吃的，但是 很多时候我没有把这个东西规定下来，所以我写了一个东西，这写了一个这种公告性的东西，就是说有哪一个民族的宗教，就是宗教在教义当中就都没有说不可以吃人，像基督教就十诫，包括那个就是他在十诫里面说不可以杀人，不可以抢东西，然后不可以怎么着，但是没有规定不能去吃人。然后法律里面，就各个国家的法律里面也很少就是规定说不能吃人，没有把这个说规定成一个条文。所以说这个是我作品的一个，就说是能够构成这些作品的一个，是在道德和法律的这个空隙当中的一个根据。当然这只是前面的头一步。
It's called body art, but that doesn't tell you the half of it. In another notorious act, Zhu Yu cut a chunk out of his own torso and grafted it onto the side of a pig. This is suffering for your art on a messianic scale.
Apparently, on the menu of some Chinese exclusive restaurants is an item that goes by the name of spare rib soup. Very expensive, it is usually served only in the back rooms to known customers who are willing to pay to premium for this delicacy. So what is spare rib soup? Brace yourselves. Spare rib soup is actually a human soup made from the bodies of aborted babies. It is regarded by some as a rejuvenating potion. A kind of fountain of youth that will fix sagging wrinkles, grow back missing hair, and generally put a spring back in your step. All of which is quite simply nonsense. But I thought of spare rib soup when I watched the video of Senior Director of Medical Services describing how her organization is harvesting and selling parts and pieces from aborted babies. I'm sure the picture of someone calmly masticating her food as she discusses the importance of not crushing the organs so she can get it all intact will stay with you a long time. Or the thought of her sipping her Cabernet Sauvignon as she brags, "We've been very good at getting heart, lung, liver." How the abortionist can manage to keep down her lunch while casually revealing that she did an abortion just this morning is unbelievable. She is talking about taking the life of a child who is about 12 inches long, can suck his thumb, can sense light and can feel pain. The thought makes me want to vomit. Apparently it stimulates her appetite. Federal law prohibits the commercial trafficking of fetal tissue for profit and carries a penalty of up to 10 years in prison and a $500,000 fine. That's why she is careful to say that Planned Parenthood abortionists want to come to a number that doesn't look like they're making money if they can do a little better than break even and do so in a way that seems reasonable. They're happy to do that. She skirts the law a second time when she explains that Planned Parenthood's abortionists sometimes do a manual version to keep the baby's head intact so it can be sold. The baby is delivered feet first and killed in the process. This is, of course, akin to an illegal partial birth abortion, following a 2003 law passed by the Congress and signed into law by President Bush. The fetal soup apparently sold in China is nauseating to any normal human being. The only people responsible for this human cannibalism are the paying customers themselves. But in the United States, because of the huge subsidies that Planned Parenthood receives from the American taxpayer, we are all paying customers. According to Planned Parenthood's FY 2013-2014 annual report, the supposedly nonprofit organization received a whopping $528 million. The U.S. taxpayer is the single largest contributor to Planned Parenthood, providing some 41% of its total revenue. Planned Parenthood committed 327,653 abortions in the FY 2013-2014, an estimated one-third of all abortions committed in the U.S. that year. To put this number into perspective, Planned Parenthood abortionists are stopping a beating heart 37 times every hour, night and day, week after week, month after month. One-child policy, baby trafficking, and sex trafficking of North Korean women aren't the worst human rights violation happening in the country. Aborting innocent and healthy unborn children and eating them to boost one's stamina and sexual health is. South Korean customs officials recently seized thousands of pills filled with powdered human baby flesh arriving apparently from China. Since August 2011, South Korean officials have intercepted more than 17,000 pills smuggled apparently from China. South Korean officials became aware of a horrific practice of eating aborted fetuses after Seoul Broadcasting System showed a documentary on doctors who performed abortions and then ate the fetuses. One doctor on the documentary took out fetuses from his refrigerator. The tiny corpses are then bought, stored in household refrigerators in homes of those involved in the trade before they are removed and taken to clinics where they are placed in medical drying microwaves.
Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to see my latest uploads, and like and share it with your friends.
China. A Ministry of Health spokesman stated that an investigation conducted last August showed no proof that pills containing human flesh were manufactured in China. Reports show that the South Korean customs officials aren't the first ones to witness such a gruesome human rights violation. In 2007, Hong Kong-based Next magazine reported that infant fetuses had become a popular health and beauty supplement. In Guangdong, the demand for fetuses' body parts was so high that buyers purchased them directly at the hospitals. One writer says that reports about meals made from infant flesh surface from time to time. An online video clips on cannibalism contains the introduction that eating human flesh is an art form. In 1995, one human rights advocate recorded allegation of doctors eating dead fetus after performing abortions at Shenzhen hospitals. To confirm the allegation, an undercover reporter from Eastern Express visited a state-owned health center for women and children and asked a female doctor for a fetus. The doctor said that the hospital was out of stock but reminded the reporter to come back. When the reporter went back to the hospital, the doctor offered 10 fetuses for free. In another state-run hospital in Shenzhen, a nurse said that fetuses were in short supply and the price could go up from $10 to $20. In another clinic, one doctor offered the reporter a full-term fetus and recommended that it had the best healing ingredients. The disturbing human rights abuse comes from a distorted view of unborn children in culture. Traditionally, ancient people in some parts of Asia considered ingestion of firstborns, aborted fetuses and placentas as part of a mother's flesh. An unborn child has no personhood of his or her own. Hence, mothers believed that they were theirs to reabsorb to create a new, healthier baby. This type of belief is common in societies practicing cannibalistic infanticide. Folk tradition says that placenta consumption helps increase the supply of sperm, and in traditional medicine it is believed to support blood supply. Consumption of fetuses and full-term infants is a horrific, vile practice against humanity.
Thanks for watching. Hope you
ASPCA, we give a voice to the
ก็หัวขำครับ ไม่ได้ว่าอะไรเพราะว่าแน่นอนพอคนมาเห็นปุ๊บเนี่ยจะต้องโดนในการทำงานรุ่นแรกก็โดนครับผมแต่ว่าพอเขารู้เรื่องของแนวความคิดที่กล่าวไว้แล้วครับก็จะเข้าใจแล้วก็จะรู้สึกว่าสนใจงานเนื้อขนมปังนี่เขาจะนุ่มเขาจะทรงตัวไม่ได้ในการปั้นที่จะให้เขาอยู่อย่างเงี้ยถ้าเกิดคนมองอาจจะสำเร็จผลมาแล้วมันจะดูไม่ได้ยากเย็นแต่จริงกว่าผมจะทำให้มันหงิกงอแบบเหมือนคนที่แบบเกรงตัวอะไรเงี้ยมันยากแก้ทำมันกินนะเหมือนอร่อยที่สุดเลยอ่ะทุกทีก็กินเยอะเนี่ยวันนี้อร่อยเลย
Welcome to Inc. Authority. We're the leader in providing online business formation services. And guess what?
It is indeed, Jeff. Take a live look behind me. This is what's left of the FBI evidence recovery team inside this car. And take a look at this vehicle. We believe this is the owner of the business just returning to take back possession of his business. More on that in a second. But take a look. Another busy day out here on Detroit's east side, just down the road from City Airport. Sources say they have removed several boxes of what is believed to be human remains. Sources say many people. This was a big operation. And get this, inside this business, a saw used to cut up bodies, it is believed, all taken away as evidence to the Wayne